Well, since so many of you happened to watch the last one of these tutorials in 2021, I am back on keyboard and mouse this time trying to show you how to get better and improve at Royale. So, clearly based off this zone, perfect positioning is going to crossing. And in my personal preference, I try to go to the outskirts where I can easily get into forge but also defend my territory and pick up kills. So I try to make efficiency the main priority when I am landing at crossing. So as you can see, getting a nice landing in, really good weapons off the start, I gotta say. I immediately go over to this house here because sometimes there will be an enemy inside that I can easily just get. So usually there is someone trying to land from this house. People often will go by this monument here. So that's an easy elimination right off the bat. Just picking up the loot from this guy. And I see I'm getting attacked from the other side, so I use positioning to my advantage. I try to just get as many headshots as possible. When I see they're in a vulnerable state, I will attack them, however. See, trying to get that concussion did not work, but I was just able to get a nice easy finish off of him anyway, so there's no worries. Pick up all the necessary loot you need. You don't need to take every single chest. If you had a loadout like I have in this scenario here, you should be fine. Chests should not be your priority. It should be more of trying to get more eliminations and racking up the shards. You see, since you're joining as I hear a player headshot, I just try to use my high ground to the advantage. With the slug rifle, easily can destroy someone with something lower end like that revolver. Now at this point my main priority was trying to get to the forge, but I noticed there was some enemies over to the side, so easily just popping them up with the concussion grenade, it will get them out of their personal placement. Then I see another person here, easily can get some shots off on them. They're clearly missing more than me, so that just gives me an open opportunity, land on them with a heroic, and then another guy out of nowhere. I just continue, instead of going to try to reload the slug rifle, it was too tight of a time period to be able to do that, so I just immediately got them with the burst. Now, I want to say, when you're, an important segment of this game is definitely to get the correct, warrior stuff. Like, as you saw a little bit in that, I did use the heroic leap to do 600 damage on that one guy, so make sure your mastery is set up correctly, I gotta say. Now obviously forging, getting all the stuff I need. I usually do not get a support or movement off the start since warrior comes with a really great movement by default, and since I had a sensor drone, no issues there. Obviously there was a chest over there, but it wasn't my main task to try to get that at the time since there were all those enemies I had to attack first. Now getting the chest, yeah, there's the passive repair rune, disenchant the rest since I know what I'm going to be forging due to the mastery settings. I'm guaranteed to get the throwing axe, so I can easily replace either of these weapons and still be good. So getting in the forge, obviously we got our stuff. I somehow forged another passive repair rune here. This is like ultimate luck scenario. So that's just the time where you gotta accept it, disenchant it, and move on to the next main location. So this was a great zone since obviously coming out of crossing you want to try to move inwards. So I had the opportunity to go to Lumberfall and Fungal Jungle for this. So just trying to keep up my pace, check my surroundings, see if there are any other enemies. See, checking where that outpost mini area is there as well. Moving in, the first thing you want to see when you're going into a main location is if there is forge smoke. If there is smoke coming out of the main forge location, that means that someone is forging there, which means there's an enemy. So I clearly checked out for that, trying to find people. Somehow there was very little here, surprisingly. They must have all moved into Fungal Jungle at this point, so I decided to just get all the loot I need, and since I was mainly trying to get for kills, check around one last time. As you could see, somehow, literally no one was here, unfortunately, so that just makes me go to my next location, no worries. Not that big of a pit stop, necessarily, but now we're going to be going into Fungal Jungle. I see, conveniently, there is this great catapult location right here on the top of Lumber Falls, so I used it to my advantage to try to get an overview. Like each of the rotations, just going by horse or going by catapult, it's gonna take the same time, but catapult offers the high ground, and it gives you some short-term visibility that other players will not have. But that short time, you could definitely track down many enemies and get just get a sense where the people are, then attack them, and you're good to go. So here we go, going into Forge, making sure nobody is there. I do see someone on the bottom layer, so I try to contain my height, but once they're chickened, I could just easily destroy them. But if I had to, I could have dropped down earlier into this segment here, but I just want to get the Forge down, get it quick, just in case more enemies come, and then I will have to attack them over my loot. So when you are in the Forge like this, I say if you want to leave the Forge like I am doing here, you want to return within 10 seconds of your Forge coming back, because you need the time to see if there's any enemies. You gotta get there before they disenchant your loot or take your stuff. As you see, there's another guy behind here just trying to get a nice easy kill using the height to the advantage again. Here you go, you see doing the 600 damage on him, and yeah, just destroying him easily like that. But as we move onward here, like I said, the Forge, my stuff is completed, so I want to get there as fast as possible. That was kind of a detour, unfortunately, but I was just in time. I hear another enemy. I was able to pick up my legendary fire throwing axe, easily one of the best items in the entire game. I just try to get the highest point where I would be able to see the enemies. I finally see two people here in a fight. I attack the weaker or closer enemy, then I see the other guy. I try to use the grass as a sort of advantage here, because when you're up hills like that, you could shoot through the grass, not like the actual land, but where there's the little grass particles, I guess. You can shoot through those, and sometimes it makes it harder for the enemy to see you when you're doing that. So I definitely say that's a great idea to do that. Now I hear another enemy. I see I have an opportunity to immediately just stop my play on rotation and attack them. So placing down the firebomb first, you wanna play smart with firebomb, because you want to use the firebomb more than just a firebomb. You want to have it as a kind of barricade, because sometimes what I try to do, I place a firebomb on one end and then I go through the other, so that would mean they're either going to have to stay in the area where I can easily kill them, or they'll get pressured into the firebomb where they'll get severely damaged if you have something like a purple legendary like I had in this situation. So that, you definitely want to use that if you have a firebomb. Now all it is a plan of rotation back into the center. Now, since there were no one in Lumberfall before, I did not forge. That gives me a great opportunity. Now I do have the time to forge, and most likely I'm going to see way more enemies as it becomes closer and closer to endgame here. See 21 enemies left in such a small zone. It's guaranteed you're going to find a few people here. So making my way, I try to hit forge first, because often that's the most common place you'll see the opponents when you're going to a main location like lumber. I somehow do not see any more people at forge, so I assume that they're still in the rotation process. Therefore, I try to get out, move towards the ends of the zone where the people will still possibly be rotating, where you can get them off guard and easily eliminate them. So I see a guy behind me. I try to get a quick fire throwing axe shot on them. Doesn't work out. They did not go to plan with this play. As you see, I tried to use the firebomb tactic, but I was cut a little short there. I pick up that healing station, and I see another enemy, so I just try to shoot with the most damaging weapon first, just in case I can get a clutch shot. I did not happen to get that until right here where I got the double chicken. And yeah, there you go. Another elimination on the board. At this point, I was clearly destroying the lobby. We're only 10 minutes into this matchup, surprisingly. So I just try to go to the sides again, catch any opponents off guard. That's definitely a major tactic in this game. As I see him moving across the zone, checking houses. This house especially right here can be severely attended in the start of the game, where sometimes there's going to be two people there, or at the end of the game where someone's trying to heal up or recover from a previous battle there. So nothing really major happened in that period of time. It was just the same exact thing over and over, trying to look for enemies, till finally I try to do a catapult play, because if you're able to get a high viewing angle, you'll be able to see the enemies, just like how I did it with Fungal Jungle. Even though it was such a tight zone, I know if you hold down on your movement, that means your flight with the catapult will be cut shorter, which actually was an advantage here, as I finally used the tactic. I saw the enemy. This was kind of a bad play by me, I'm gonna be honest. My placement of the firebomb wasn't too great either, but doesn't really matter too much since I was still able to destroy him. All he had was that purple shotgun, which the firing rate on that is very slow. So yeah, actually though, I really don't recommend using something like a shotgun. By endgame, you want to have at least one major weapon, something like the fire throwing axe, fire stone staff, or just regular stone staff. You want to have something like that, or even if you're a hunter like this guy was, you could definitely have crossbow, air blast, longbow, any of that stuff, along with the sniper rifle. Like, well, while we're on the point of the sniper rifle, I want to say, out of all the assassin weapons, the only one you really want to use is gonna be the sniper. The shredder is basically equivalent to an LMG, just shorter of a range, I find it. So I decide, if I find that, I'm just really gonna disenchant it, get something better. Now in this scenario, I'm actually seeing an opponent. This is the last guy. I just try to wait it out. I want to wait for the zone, because I just want to give an example here. The prime opportunity and how you could play off these endgame zones. So I see him. This is not what would happen in a regular game. In a regular game, you would be better off trying to actually attack someone like this. But in my case, I want to show you how endgame fog positioning can definitely come out to your advantage. So let's skip to that moment. Okay, so here we are in the endgame. I see, based on this current zone, the only real place, legitimate place I would find an enemy would be in that house, since what you gotta understand is, a house may seem the most secure, but it's really, you kind of want to do something like this, since a house is usually on the lowest end of the physical borders and ground, so you want to try to get height on them, since you could definitely try to get shots through the windows. As now, I want to focus on the zone real quick. So you could see I'm on the edge of the zone at the moment. They're at the center. That, it may seem like it's a bad idea, but really what it gives me is an opportunity where I can attack them instead of them attacking me, which gives me a major advantage in mobility and just overall strength on them. So I just try to wait it out. You want to take your time in these situations, because you don't want them to be ready with something like a turret on you. You want them to be in a situation where they're wanting to escape, but due to fog, they can't escape from you. So you just want to close them in, kind of like what I am trying to do here. See, moving in slowly with the zone as it slowly covers more of the map here. Try to get some more firebombs, since I'm still not fully aware of where they are, but I can definitely make a great estimate. So really, the way that I am positioned here, the only places they could be is either the house, that one shed, or behind one of the many trees. But since I was on the left half of this zone, basically the majority of this end game, that means I know they're not going to be there really, unless they did an end game rotation with their horse, which definitely is not likely just because of their current position. As you could see, Now the final zone is about to press in on me. I just have to get the timing right. I know that's the most important thing in one of these end games, is getting the timing so they're put at the disadvantage, like I said. So just trying to check around the other areas where they possibly could be. But now that I've done that, I can basically fully determine that they must be inside the house. So I'm waiting for the fog to be right on my back so I can get a perfect heroic leap and just try to go where I think they are, but still at a point where I am in my own security, right? So, see, I am very selfish, I guess, to the positions around me, just trying to stay safe, just in case they manage to pop out a window and then attack me. But see, here's the final situation. I close in. I hear movement right on the other side of this wall, so the first idea is to definitely fire a firebomb. Like I said, look at this. It forces them to get outside of the building, so that means they might get the fog damage, or that just gives me where I'm in placement and they're out of placement, so something like this will happen. Middle of the forge fight. And that's how you win a game in Royale 2022. There we go. 17 elimination game. And you know, if there's any improvements to this video, leave it in the comments. I definitely appreciate all the comments in the original one of these videos. And I gotta say, thanks for watching this one. Thanks for watching the last one. And yeah.